welcome back to today's video. So this is a part 2 of my Q&A video, and in today's video it's just going to be answering several different questions. Last video it was more of like one category where it was just me sharing my life plans, my current ones, but in today's video it's just going to be answering different questions. And yeah, so there's no one like category to them. But we will be starting off with questions like how did I get into hair and that kind of stuff. Now that we've gotten my future plans out of the way, I'm actually going to continue talking about hair. So speaking of hair, one of the questions is what got me into hair? So actually, I don't really think there is anything that really like struck me and like kind of like resulted me in getting into hair. From a very, very young age, I've just always enjoyed doing people's hair. Like probably when I was like at least 7, I've always just enjoyed playing with people's hair. And back then I couldn't really do much. It was just like, you know, your usual like high pigtails or maybe a basic braid, but mostly just like pigtails. And I just loved doing that. Like I just found so much joy in it. So this was before I got adopted, and then after getting adopted, my parents noticed that like I really enjoy hair, and I would do my mom's just for fun sometimes. And I guess I would always ask Pearl if I could do her hair, but she didn't really like getting her hair touched back then, and so I didn't really get a whole ton of chances. So for my 11th birthday, my parents got me my first mannequin head, and her name is actually Emily. So at the time, getting that mannequin head was a bit of a surprise to me because I actually didn't know there was such a thing. But like that, from then on, I just started practicing, started learning, and it was like the perfect present because I could practice and play with hair all I wanted, because now I don't have to ask for permission or anything like that. I just did it on the mannequin head. And from then on, I just started getting more. I got my second one in the RV. I don't remember how old I was. And then I just kept on getting more. So now I actually have 10, and I have different lengths. Okay, and they have different colors and just textures. So it's just been great, and all of my learning have just been from YouTube videos and practicing them. So another question is, how long have I enjoyed doing hair, and when did I decide to go to cosmetology school? So with the first question, I think I already kind of answered it. Ever since I was pretty young, around the age of 7, and I decided that I want to go to cosmetology school, I'd say like a few years ago, so maybe when I was like 15 or 16, because I loved it so much that I just knew I wanted to do it for the rest of my life. I did some research at the time and learned that you need a license, and in order to get a license, you have to go to school for that. In order to be able to go to school, you have to wait till you're a certain age, and I'm pretty sure for North Carolina it was 17. So moving on to a different question. This one is, how old was I when I got adopted? I was 9, almost 10 when I got adopted. I got adopted at the end of February, and my birthday is at the end of May. So very close to 10, but I was technically 9. The next question is, what is it like coming into the LDS church a bit older? Honestly, I don't really know how to describe it, because when I became a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I was still learning English, and I was still, you know, trying to get used to my new life, because, you know, China and America are kind of on the opposite ends of the world, and culture and language and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't really think about that much at the time, but I am glad that I did get to come in older than some people, because I do have a different view of our church than some people, because I do know what it's like to not have what I believe now. But now that I do have my church in my life and what I believe, it's made me a lot happier, and life is just so much easier and better. I'm a lot happier, and I don't know where I would be without being part of this church. Alright, so I'm gonna move on to our next questions, and I'm gonna call these like the fun questions because they are still a little bit random, but they're also kind of interesting. So when I asked you all to ask me the questions, and one of you asked, do I get upset that I'm not on the Family Channel as much? And the answer is no. I am not on the Family Channel as much because I am gone quite a bit. I work 6 hours, 5 days a week. I don't mind, like, and whenever I am here, I'm usually like up in my room doing stuff, or I'm actually just working on stuff in a different room from where my parents are actually filming. So I'm just busy, so I don't show up very often. So I don't mind it at all. I just said that at the time because I wanted to kind of explain my reasons for why I wanted to have this Q&A, and it was just because I feel like you guys don't see me very often, so you don't know me, and I wanted to introduce myself. So yeah. The next question is, what kind of music do I like? And I like mostly pop music. I also do listen to Chinese songs. I don't understand most of the words, but I do like the songs because some of the songs are actually songs that I listened to from before I was adopted. And the other songs that I listen to, even though I don't understand them, I still like them because I like the music part. So yeah. The next question is, out of all the places I've been, which would I consider living permanently? I don't know. I love Utah and the mountains, and like especially Moab, but I don't imagine myself living there. I love pretty much all the places I've been, even the ones outside of the US, but I don't really see myself living out there permanently. I actually don't see myself living anywhere permanently for a long time, because I actually do want to travel, you know, be able to travel by myself or with my family when I have one eventually. So I don't see myself being stationary. So my life plans are actually kind of going to be like my parents were. We're not going to be stationary for that long. The next question is, what is my favorite food / meal? My favorite food / meal is anything Asian. I love like anything with rice. I love pasta, and I love vegetables. I actually grew up eating mostly vegetables, rice, and meat, and I rarely ever had any treats. So I am actually really sensitive to like sweet things, so I rarely ever drink anything but water. And when it comes to treats, I'm not gonna say no to ice cream because that is my favorite treat, or anything with chocolate in it. I also love anything with chocolate, but anything else, they're just too sweet for me. Like one bite is good enough, but then afterward it just becomes too sweet. It all just tastes sweet, and I don't like that. Me not liking sweet things is actually very beneficial for my siblings because then they get more. So that does mean when I get candy, especially if I get a ton of candy, I'll just share it because I know I'm not gonna eat it. So jumping back to me being 18, another question is, where do I want to go for my 18th birthday trip? In my family we call it senior trip. I think I kind of want to go somewhere in like Mexico or somewhere in South America. I still have about a year before I actually go on my senior trip. Because I'm going to be starting school at the end of June, we just don't have time for me to go on my senior trip. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. But right now, I'm leaning towards somewhere in the mountains because I just love the mountains. So speaking of going somewhere, another question is, do I miss traveling? And the answer is yes. I think traveling is just so much fun, especially if you're with your family, and just, you know, going to places, like seeing, you know, their culture, and I think even if it's like somewhere inside the United States, because, you know, you could go to the mountains for, you know, a week, or you could go to the beach for a week. So in general, I do miss it a bit, but I'm also just happy being with my family and being with them wherever they're at.